Have you ever wanted to get into Marvel Comics? Well, we got this list for you. Me and Elias have poured hours and hours into comics, if not hundreds of thousands of hours into comics, and we have come up with a surefire list of some awesome stories that would really get you into the Marvel Universe. If you've ever been interested through the MCU or any other media, this is your place to hop on. Kicking it off, Elias, what do you think should be your first book if you're going to pull into the Marvel universe?
All right. Um, I didn't really put these in any particular order, but if we want to come at it from a movie angle, I do have The Vision from 2015 listed first. So this is actually just called Vision. This is a Tom King book written by Tom King, illustrated by Gabriel Hernandez Walta. And this is a 12 issue series. So that's kind of big when I pitch something to people is I want them to have a kind of set definition in their mind how long this is going to be. So this is 12 issues, meaning it might be considered a maxi series. So it's a set amount of issues that is going to get the whole story done in that one fell swoop. And it's going to, hopefully satisfy your needs for this character and this story. So Vision is a look at, of course, our favorite android, our favorite Marvel android, and him if he had a family. So this is a little bit different. They are in talks right now, or they're working on a Vision show. And of course, we did just have WandaVision. So if you enjoyed him at all in the MCU, I think this is probably where they're headed with this character, or it might touch on some stuff that we've already seen in the MCU. So this series focuses on themes of humanity, philosophy, and I would describe this genre-wise as a thriller, as drama, um, maybe even having elements of horror at a given time. But I think thriller kind of encapsulates all that. And this is definitely, I would say, for a more mature audience. This is a little bit, it deals with some more mature themes.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Um,
darker.
yeah, a little bit darker for sure. But I definitely recommend this if you had any, uh, interest in the character from seeing him on the big screen. Me personally, I think that there's a lot more to do with him in the MCU. So if you're, looking for something to maybe hold you over, or just looking for a character to dive into, I think this is a great way to get in there. There are, of course, some cameos of characters you do know. I won't give away who, but you'll find out soon enough if you check it out. There's probably at least a couple trades, volumes 1 and 2. I'm sure they did of the 6 issues at a time. Uh, it's a little harder to find in single issue, as I'm finding out, but I am only 1 issue away from having the full physical collection in singles. But yeah, definitely recommend this if you guys want to explore Vision.
Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal read, and I'm sure anyone who picks it up will enjoy it. And you don't need much context.
Yeah, this is definitely like a really cool spot to jump in. There are some things that are already established, but it's pretty easy to jump into for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Lucas, what do you have up first?
So instead of going into the classic Marvel universe, I'd figured that I'd go into the more modernized Ultimate Universe that Marvel made. Basically, was Marvel trying to modernize and make an easy entry point for a lot of readers. And one of the best series to come out of it was Ultimate Spider-Man by Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley. It's amazing. It's basically what if Spider-Man basically happened in the 2000s. It's a way more modern take. The stories are well thought out. The characters are very interesting and more modernized, so they're a lot more easy to understand. And a lot of the stories contain. You don't need to know previous history of other characters because this is quote unquote a new universe. And so, me, even as a child, was reading this and loving this. And then, even as an adult, I've reread this and loved it. Um, Some of the dialogue, of course, is a little bit outdated, but other than that, the plot beats, the villains, Peter himself, everything involved with Spidey as a character is super tight and super well done. Um, and honestly, is probably a great snapshot of what the character is within the modern eye of people.
That's a great way to put it. This is, obviously technically a different universe, but as a result, allows you a fresh entry point, allows you something that might deceive or go against your preconceived notions of this character and the universe just a little bit, but not too much. So yeah, this is definitely a nice spot to jump onto. You can kind of go arc by arc if you want because it does run for a
100%.
while.
Yes.
So wherever you want to jump in or jump out, or rather wherever you want to jump out, you can. But I think it's good enough that you'll want to stay along for the ride.
Yeah, I recommend the first like 10 issues. I think that's like a very solid base. You get a lot about the characters, you get introduced to certain villains, you get introduced to how Peter's balancing his own life. And I think by 10 issues, you're kind of hooked in at that point.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
it is a longer series, so no need to feel to read everything. But you might find it hard to put down, to be honest,
Yeah.
as I did multiple times.
Hmm.
I've come back to this story and been like, okay, I'm going to read one arc, and then 2 months later, I've reread the entire thing again. So
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
And that's the other thing too is like um, you could have it just last you a while. You could come back to it.
Yeah.
It could sustain you for a while.
Anyway, Elias, what's your next one?
My next pick is going to be History of the Marvel Universe. This is by Mark Waid and Javier Rodriguez. This one's funny because it is what it says it is. This is interesting, but I think a very artful take on the Marvel Universe. It's modern, so it's recent, made in the last few years. So it's very, very comprehensive. This is a 6-issue miniseries. They are slightly oversized issues. But if you are looking for something that is really going to give you an idea of the scale of the universe that you're getting into, this is a good fit for you. It's definitely a lot of information to take in. But I think the spread of the art, the complexity of the art, the detail in the art itself is enough to really make you want to take your time with each page. This is just a beautiful book. Javier Rodriguez just knocks it out of the park. I mean, it's just double page spread after double page spread. So if you really want to get, again, the impression of the enormity of the Marvel Universe, this is a really cool way to do so. And if you're really into lore and you're really into detail, this is like the perfect book for you. This really goes from the beginning and goes throughout all the eras, again, in a super artful way. They used Galactus as the narrator, someone who's been around since the beginning of the era that we know. And basically, he's in the future preparing for the next. So he is reminding Franklin Richards of the history of the Marvel Universe. And yeah, I love this book. You can just flip through it to see the beautiful art. Once you've actually read it, there's a lot of cool info that, from when I last read it, seems to be up to date. Nothing seems to be out of place or retconned yet. But there's a lot of cool, again, details that most people don't know. So you could get the leg up on a lot of other Marvel readers just by reading this book. But yeah, super, super cool.
Yeah, it's tough to find a book that explains how intricate the Marvel universe is without just reading a Marvel encyclopedia. Which I will say, as a kid who did that, and I know Elias also did that, that is a valid way to learn about the universe, but this is a lot more digestible. and a lot more straightforward for anybody who really wants to know the nitty gritty of like every single thing, including like cosmic details to like the street level heroes.
Yeah. So this is for all my fellow like bookworms out there. You know, this is like just straight to the details, straight to the lore, and will hopefully catch you up to today and maybe inspire you to seek out those characters that you enjoyed within the history.
Yeah.
All right, Lucas, what do you got next?
Next up for me is Champions, written by Mark Wade, also, and drawn by Humberto Ramos. Um, Champions is basically a book showcasing the more recently created heroes and really gets to show you them getting acclimated within the Marvel universe. We got Nova, we got Miles Morales, we got Miss Marvel, we have a version of Hulk who is a younger version who is called Amadeus Cho. We have Viv Vision. We have a bunch of characters that are really, really newer and really get time to show off within this book. The cool thing about Champions as a series is that this is them trying to make their own spot within the universe and standing out from the Avengers. They don't want to be the Avengers, they want to be better than the Avengers. Morally, and this story, while it is aimed at children, deals with a lot of heavy stuff. Surprisingly amount of heavy stuff, whether it be trafficking, human trafficking, racism, abuse. It deals with a lot of topics that most groups would have a tough time dealing with, let alone introducing in their book. But honestly, Champions takes it in stride. And each character has their own unique voice and dialogue and style. It's genuinely just such an interesting read, and because they're new to the Marvel universe, it's perfect for people that are also new to the Marvel universe.
Yeah, these are characters that they are starting to introduce in the MCU, of course. So definitely, I think a good time to jump into this book and explore these characters a little bit more, how they would interact with each other, because I think eventually they will on the big screen. And you know, these are characters you love. Miles, Miss Marvel are two breakout younger characters. I think a lot of people are gravitating towards them these days. So yeah, this is definitely a cool run to jump into, and hopefully we'll introduce you to characters that we will see later on the big screen as well. But yeah, they deal with some heavier themes here, and this is sort of their um, run where they start dealing with some more, mature themes.
Yeah. And there's a lot of new characters that will be introduced at if you read the entire run. You obviously don't need to because the arcs are really well contained. They're usually about them visiting a specific town or dealing with a specific situation. Um, but new characters get introduced all the time, and these characters are always super intriguing. New characters leave. It's a team that's constantly rotating, and I genuinely love it for that.
Yeah, definitely what you want out of a team book in that way.
Yeah. Anyway, Elias, what's next up for you?
My next choice is going to be Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise. This is a book for fans of higher art. And I say that because the art in this book is very abstract. Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise is brought to us by Trad Moore and Heather Moore. Uh, this is completely written and drawn by Trad, and this is colored by his wife Heather. So, really cool project in that way. But yeah, this is a 4-issue miniseries, oversized issues again. But this is not too hard to find, either in trade paperback or in original format. And I think they actually recently did an oversized trade of this as well, which is really cool because this is a beautiful, beautiful book, art wise, and you really want to appreciate the details in the art. This is something that you can enjoy if you're a Doctor Strange fan. This is something you can enjoy if you're just a fan of art in general, modern art, if you will, and abstract art. So this deals with a self contained Doctor Strange story. it's a snapshot of a previous adventure he had been on. So it does you don't have to worry about timeline
Context.
or any of that stuff. Yeah, context. So that's definitely I think a big appeal for me. And yeah, man, it's just a journey through mysticism and action and thriller and all this stuff that really converges into these four issues. Again, you get everything in one fell swoop. And yeah, I really love this series. I think this is a truly beautiful book, something I definitely recommend having and reading in physical form. um, so yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal book. Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else on that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty open and shut because of how it's four issues. It's in and out. You don't need to know previous context, and the art is just so high level that like saying anything doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, that's fair.
So next up for me is the quintessential X-Men story. I would say probably the most highly rated story that you need if you're going to be an X-Men fan. God loves, man kills. A phenomenal story that basically highlights everything about the X-Men and their themes, and basically tells everyone that says that my comics were never political to shut the fuck up. Comics were always political, and this one is very much so. If you couldn't tell, it's obviously touching on racism and homophobia and all these different abuses of minorities. But even outside of that, the characters are so well written. They're so entertaining to interact with. We got Kitty Pryde, who is the new person on the block. We got Colossus, we got Cyclops, we got Nightcrawler, we got Wolverine, we got Storm. You got basically your classic X-Men, the team that most people think of when they think of X-Men. And they have them facing off not against a foe that they can punch and beat up, but a pastor who is just preaching hate. And the great thing about this is that because it's not a foe that they can uppercut out of the world or whatever, they can't just destroy or kill. They have to fight ideologically. They have to think intelligently, and they have to basically showcase, no, we deserve to be people, considered people, because we are human. We are people. It's a beautiful tale that really goes to show just even when you have the best of intentions, people will twist it, people will abuse that. And William Stryker is one of the best villains I've read in comics because he's just so fucking realistic. He really doesn't let anyone uh, get any leeway. Even Charles, who's amazing at what he does when he's debating against him in the story, is awestruck because he is that good at spinning a narrative. Um, but yeah, I think this is the quintessential X-Men story, and you would be doing yourself a disservice by not reading it. And it is one maxi issue, so only 72 pages. You can read it and be done, and you'll get everything out of it that you need to.
Yeah, I'm curious this has reached if this name has reached a younger audience yet. But this is known by many as just a classic X-Men story. I think there was some diatribe recently online where people were missing the point of X-Men and mutants representing minorities or something.
Yeah,
And this is uh, making it plain to the reader that the X-Men and mutants are a direct metaphor for minorities and
man, who would have
for
guessed?
underrepresented groups. So yeah, this deals with that theme head on. This tackles super important ground for the X-Men and what they stand for. So yeah, this is definitely a quintessential X-Men story, no doubt.
And you can't even say this isn't. Oh man, this isn't classic X-Men. It's written by Chris Claremont, who is literally known for creating the X-Men as they modernly are. Creating having characters like Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, all these different characters become part of the X Men team in the first place. Um,
Yep.
Also, the art is phenomenal. Brent Anderson kills it.
Hmm.
But yeah, Elias, what's next up for you?
Next up for me, I have Fantastic Four by Ryan North and Iban Coelho. There are other guest artists, but it starts out with Iban. This is my recommendation for older readers who have fallen out of the comic game, fallen out of love with comics. This is definitely approachable for all ages, but the reason I recommend it for older comic fans who are looking to get back into the space is because this is very reminiscent of classic Weird Science comics. This deals with um, crazy sci-fi concepts that are digestible and done with within 1 to 2 issues or shorter arcs, basically. So this is a wonderful book if you guys want to jump into this new family that we are going to be seeing soon on the big screen, or if you're just looking for some sci-fi, fantastical, kind of stories. This has been such a blast. This is still running, which is
Yeah.
cool. So if you are looking to get into brand new comics, something that hits the shelves currently, this is definitely my rec for you. This is it starts out with a story that's going to um, a story that feels disconnected that will soon join up together. So once you get past that point, you'll get an idea of who the Fantastic Four are, and then quickly you'll realize that each arc is um, somewhere you can jump in, somewhere you can jump out, but it's pretty clear uh, each time that Ryan North has a clear cut story in mind and really wants to just give you guys a fun time with the Fantastic Four. There has been some definitely bigger themes tackled, but everything is rather digestible. And Lucas and I are actively reading this book, and we always comment on how they make crazy science facts and physics facts like more digestible.
They make me
So
feel smarter while I read.
yeah, exactly. So this is really really cool in that way. Ryan North does not have a ton of writing credits under his belt, which is what makes this book even that much cooler. Is he comes at you with huge high concepts, but makes them again digestible and puts them into 1 or 2 issues, and then that's the open and shut arc, and then you can move on. So this is uh, I don't want to say anthology, but maybe somewhat of an anthology series with the Fantastic Four, where they're tackling different threats. And yeah, this is just such a blast. If you're an older fan of the Marvel Comics, and of course you read FF back in the day, I think you will enjoy this. This is really the classic vibes of Fantastic Four with the modern writing. So yeah, I love this book.
And I mean, what other book could you have a version of Doctor Doom that is a dinosaur?
Yeah, if you want to get some more info on why there's a Doctor Doom dinosaur.
Read this.
That's the pitch.
That really is all you need.
Doom dinosaur, yeah.
But yeah, my next book is going to be three specific issues from the classic FF run. Um, it is known as the Galactus Saga. Um, it's three issues that basically detail the coming of Galactus to Earth, um, and it's amazing. It's wild how well thought out this is. Um, it shows you a huge piece of the cosmic universe without really exposing too much. It doesn't overwhelm you, which is very difficult when it comes to cosmic related lore. I feel like, especially in the Marvel universe, because it's very easy to give too much information. Um, but it goes to show a more science fiction side of things, and you get to spend time with the original family of Marvel: Human Torch, The Thing, Invisible Woman, Breed. and it's them coming to grips with a foe that they can't really just beat yet again just by punching real hard. This is an all powerful deity that is coming to destroy Earth, and they have to outthink him, outsmart him. Um, but I love the multiple characters appearing, everyone freaking out. I love the idea of the ramifications of the story later down the line. Um, but even for just new readers, this is a great little tidbit just to give you an idea about what the FF is about, and which is that there are explorers and scientists that solve problems that happen in the world.
Yeah, this is one of the most classic arcs that you can read in the Marvel universe, in Marvel Comics history. Obviously, Galactus is a huge recurring character, um, and you will kind of get to know him at the beginning, and then if you want to keep reading about him, you'll probably see how he's had such an evolution over the years. So you can appreciate him in that way. Do you know if this is available in its like own trade or something?
Yeah, so there's actually a bunch of versions of it in
Cool.
its own trade. Usually, the Coming of Galactus is usually the one that's it's called, or Behold Galactus. Um, those are usually the two names for the trades that are usually featuring these three issues. Um, but yeah, I mean, all you really need to read is issue 48 through 50, and I'm sure you'll have a great time. And it's written by the classic team of Stanley and Jack Kirby. Um, you can't get any more classic than that.
Yep. Those are the masters of Marvel.
Yep. What is your final pick, Elias?
My final pick for Marvel starter kits is going to be Moon Knight by Jeff Lemire and Greg Smallwood. Man, this is a beautiful, beautiful series. I tried to pick stuff on this list that I thought had art that would really draw you in. It's not just about the story, but these are stories that the art and the writing just work so well together in tandem. This is the Moon Knight run I tell people to check out first if they're looking to get into Moon Knight. The reason I say that is because it deals with some really heavy Moon Knight concepts, but it is mysterious, it's thrilling, it's dramatic. It is 14 issues of everything you want out of Moon Knight, everything that I like to see out of Moon Knight, and it really comes at you fast. It deals with all his heavy themes, and it's done. This run technically does go into the legacy numbering, but I'm just recommending 1 through 14.
Yeah,
I think that is really all you have to read. So it's not super long. Again, you can linger with it and hang out with it because it's uh, a bit of a mystery in the way of trying to decipher what's reality. If you guys watch the Moon Knight show, you know that Mark doesn't always have the best grasp on reality, and this really explores that to the nth degree, and really makes the reader question, what's really going on. This is cool in a few ways because you can either choose to have your own interpretation of what's real. You can try and decipher what you think Mark is experiencing. You can try and decipher what you think Mark is being forced to experience. Like, there's a lot of interesting ways to interpret this. It's not just a cut and dry superhero story, and that's really what I love about Moon Knight is his more supernatural background, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this is just a great appreciation of Moon Knight's history in 14 issues. This is a really cool one and done story to jump into if you're looking to explore this character more. Me personally, I love the show. The show actually draws a little bit from this run, so
definitely.
definitely recommend this in a really big way. Um, Jeff Lemire, Greg Smallwood, just a tour de force creative team.
No, 100%. This to me is one of the best runs for any character ever. Um, not only does it showcase all the character strengths, but it also really makes you think about the character as a superhero, as a character within the media. Um, Jeff Lemire knows how to write Mark in a way that really shows the human side of him. And Greg Smallwood just flexes his artistic strengths with the unreliable side of reality. Really, it's phenomenal, phenomenal book.
Yeah, this definitely plays on like the unreliable narrator, motif in novels. This definitely deals with some heavier, themes for sure. So I would, definitely recommend this if you're looking for something like that.
Yeah,
All right, Lucas, that brings us to your final pick.
yeah. My final pick is Marvels by Alex Ross and Kurt Busiek. Um, this series, if you read the previous books that we talked about, which is like Galactus Saga, um, God Loves Man Kills, and any of those previous books, this has a little bit more impact, which is nice. But you genuinely don't need it. This is the most street level look that you can get for the Marvel universe, and it's amazing. Every issue deals with a different decade, basically, as you get to see this news reporter experience the Marvel Universe blooming in real time. You start with the classic 50s era with Namor and the original Human Torch. You move into Fantastic Four, you move into Spider Man, X Men, all these different characters that are appearing within New York. And you get to experience the public's disenfranchisement with them and eventual love of them, and then the fall off of that, and the fallout of many of their errors and mistakes. You get to experience the Galactus trilogy through the experience of a human person who doesn't know the context about what's happening and is thinking the world is going to end. You get to experience the racism that mutants experience every day. You see the tragedy of the life of Spider-Man, and other characters that are masked vigilantes. It is truly a phenomenal book, and maybe honestly my favorite Marvel book of all time. It is stunning. It is absolutely breathtaking. Every single issue is a tour de force on storytelling, art, and knowing the Marvel history, because there's this really cool, they did an addendum later on where they broke down every single panel's references to specific issues, and each issue had like about 100 pages. And it's like they didn't need to go that much in depth. They really did not, but they did because they loved it so much. And getting to see like Namor threatening to flood New York, which in the comic is like, oh, this is a wild situation. When you see it as a human, you're like, oh, this is horrifying. Like stuff like that is just so interesting to me. And if this is not if this doesn't get you into the Marvel universe, I genuinely don't know what will.
Yeah, it's high praise, but definitely praise that you will hear out of a lot of people's mouths who have read this story. This is a modern classic. This is like what, early 2000s or 90s?
Yeah, early '90s.
90s, yeah. So yeah, this is definitely like a classic modern Marvel masterpiece. Alex Ross is, of course, an artist that you've seen just from walking in a comic store and looking at the covers. He is like the cover artist that people, have seen. He has his own booth at New York Comic Con. Like he's, yeah, he's huge. So this is really, I would say, his masterpiece. His Odyssey. This is nothing but love for the Marvel Universe, and really, yeah, again, just gives you um, almost a reality check on all the superhero stories that you might know. Um, so yeah, this is just uh, I don't know, just such a great
Marvelous.
place. Uh, yeah, such a great place to jump in into the comics if you're looking for something more, we'll say, realistic. And
Yeah.
you reminded me, I forgot to mention that in History of the Marvel Universe, that 6 issue mini, each issue has annotations at the end, like several pages of annotations where they're like, here's the issues where that happened. Here's what he were talking about when he referenced this part of history. And so it's very, again, comprehensive. It's very like, you know, telling you what you should explore if you enjoy the story. And Marvel's does that as well. So yeah, what is it? 5 issues, 6 issues,
It is 4 issues.
4 issues?
So
Yeah.
so incredibly well, I want to say incredibly. It feels like you're reading it so quickly. Each issue is about 40 to 50 pages. Um and if you're reading the annotated, then it's about 100 pages each. If not a little bit more than that. But it's so amazing that you will breeze right through the issues. Guaranteed. Anyway, guys, this has been our starter kit for the Marvel Universe. If you have any interest at all in reading Marvel Comics and getting into Marvel Comics, this is where we think you should start. Um, Soon we'll be posting a DC and indie starter kit, so definitely stay tuned, subscribe for that, and like this video and share it to friends that are also trying to get into comics. Remember to like, subscribe, support your local comic shop, and read comics. Till next time.